Y aunque tú me has echado en el abandono, y aunque tú has muerto mis ilusiones, en vez de maldecirte con justo encono, y en mis sueños te como, y en mis sueños te como de bendiciones. Sufro la inmensa pena de tu extravío, siento el dolor profundo de tu partida, y lloro sin que tú sepas que el llanto mío tiene lágrimas negras, tiene lágrimas negras como mi vida. Y aunque tú me ha echado en el abandono. Y aunque tú has muerto mis ilusiones, en vez de maldecirte con justo encono, y en mis sueños te colmo, y en mis sueños te colmo de bendiciones. Sufro la inmensa pena de tu extravío, siento el dolor profundo de tu partida, y yo lloro sin que tú sepas que el llanto mío tiene lágrimas negras como mi vida. Hay un don Guadalquivir, la guitarra hablaba, los niños en la orilla viendo los barcos pasar. Agua del limonero, agua del limonero, si te acaricio la cara tienes que darme un beso.
Y'all vibing or what? We're going to kick this off in 30 seconds.
Ahí en el Guadalquivir, mi guitarra lavaba, pañuelo de blanco y oro, que yo te daba, agua del limonero, agua del limonero, si te acaricio la cara, tienes que darme un beso, tú me quieres dejar, yo no quiero sufrir, contigo me voy tana, y aunque me cueste morir, contigo me voy tana, y aunque me cueste morir. Limpiaba el agua del río como la estrella de la mañana. Limpiaba el cariño mío, el manantial de tu fuente clara. Como el agua, ay, como el agua, como el agua, como el agua clara.
Damn. All right. Hope y'all are ready because this is how we're kicking things off today. You know, had to get in the spirit. Had to tap into the Latin American roots here. But with that being said, guys, welcome to today's session. Hope you guys are feeling abundant. Have a little let's get a little magic going this Tuesday. Markets are back in full effect after Labor Day. So you guys are seeing quite a bit of volatility across the board with the markets here. Gonna have to take up some dancing lessons. For sure. All right. So, go ahead and if you guys have any traders you trade with, let them know we're live. Just looking at the chat over here. Morning, Alonzo. Edgar, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Morning, Caius. Still, I don't even know if I still pronounce it right. What's up, Karen? What up, Ruben? I'm sure you're around. Brandon. Everyone in Europe. Welcome. Morning, Tradetopia. What's good, Adam? What's good, brother? Are you going to be, if this is Angie's, Adam, are you going to be in Colombia or no? Harshi, what's good, brother Patrick? If anyone took the AU entries from yesterday and is still holding, you're having a great time. Oh, I'm about to double check. I've been unplugged. Tio, Gabriel, ¿cómo estás? Joe, Ryan, Greg. Good morning, brother. ¿Qué tal? Vaughn, Linda, Moving Wicks. Let's make it happen. Vaughn feeling like the Spanish mafia. Mucho suave, baby. Paul, we missed you on Saturday, bro. Missed you at the workshop out here. Still not working. Notifications? Or what? Omar. All right, everybody. Coach looking fresh. Yeah, I got the run in early. You know, we got the shower in, and we ready to roll. Can I come dancing too? For sure. All right, guys, let's dive in there. Let's get going. Make sure this is in the right place. So we're going to start looking at a couple things. I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing that are on here so far. As you guys may have noticed, the uploads are in full effect. So we're getting some good momentum going over here. It was an insanely busy London session based on the sheer amount of alerts that I woke up to. Someone said, I'm going to need one of those Tradetopia jerseys. Oh, that's a personal text over here. I got you, bro. Don't worry. They're coming out soon here. NBA season. Also, our NFL-based jerseys will be out for pre-order. The NFL ones look crazy. I am very, very, very stoked for those. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's dive in over here. Let me know if this looks kind of strange. It does, right? Okay, so give me 1 second, guys. Let me make sure I can move this over. I know my image is in like a random spot over here. I got it. Let me just move this over here. Let's see. I had to have different settings for when I'm recording my screen. All right, so I think that should go right there. Should look better, right? Perfect. Okay, so as you can see, based on the abundance of alerts that we had over here, indices went in full effect, and then oil, pesos. So there's a few things we're going to dive into. The usual suspects, and yeah, markets doing market things. So yesterday we marked up opportunities with gold, right? We saw the market kind of take out these lows over here Sunday during Asian session and then pushes towards the high. So we were considering buying in this range over here, still an option. And then we will look at silver as well. Silver over here already working its way down a bit more. So I do think that our buy scenario is going to be legit for gold. So we will definitely have this set up here as an option. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We shall see. So let me go ahead and share this in our Tradetopia community over here. If you're not in here, definitely make sure you do get in here. I will quickly let you guys join the community over here. So scan the code on the left if you're not in our free community. There's an abundance of resources available right there. So check that out. Give you guys a couple seconds there. And then it's in September, guys. September already. September 2nd. So what I do want to add is it's still early enough in the month for you to go back to August, review your trades, review your behaviors, and get the most out of that. Like, everything you've done in the past is a gold mine. It's a gold mine. And specifically, the reason I say it's a gold mine, it's because you have to mine it in order to get anything. You have to dig into it. You have to go and excavate and put the work in, but you will get nuggets, some golden nuggets out of it if you know how to look. So with that being said, yeah, I mean, the market, took the highs out, worked its way down. So right now, we might be able to have sells with either, it looks like it would be more so a sell opportunity, maybe with silver up here. But I'll come back to that. That's not necessarily urgent. I'll place an alert just in case things happen quickly. But I want to dive into indices first. Okay, so very bearish. Very bearish. And then yesterday, we were looking at a couple options. So let me go ahead and put this to the side. We'll go back to back. NASDAQ, Dow Jones. And then let's take a gander over here. So we were looking for buying opportunities on either Dow, NASDAQ, or S&P 500. Now, on the right over here, we do have NASDAQ. On the left, we have Dow Jones. If you're trading CFDs, the prices may look a bit different, but the candlesticks will look the same. So you might not have the exact same thing. Quarter 4 started with blood. Quarter 4 starts next month, but we are in the final third of the year for sure. I was driving DJs to North Coast. That sounds like fun, man. You know what? I don't blame you for choosing them over me, Paul. Nad did the Scrooge McDuck time. Majestic camera view. That's a cool sentence. Yeah, I like the view here. Peso did that thing. Good morning. Morning. Blood on the streets. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the distro was nice. Okay, so what were we looking for? Yesterday, we had a very short session. We did Zoom in the community. If you guys were on, you were on. If you weren't, you weren't. And we were building up liquidity. So, guys, what do you know about the market when you have liquidity building up like it did with Dow Jones? And you guys let me know, right? I need this engagement, not for me, but to make sure that you're progressing, your understanding of the concepts are developing. So what does this look like? What can you start to infer when you have equal lows, support building up like this, liquidity building up? Explosive move. The liquidity becomes a target for later. It definitely can be. All right, orders trapped. So this is luring in retail buy positions. Same thing here. So you had Friday, midway of New York session. You had the New York Open, and then you had Asian session lows building up. All of Asian session built up liquidity. This was squeezing all across the board. So you were to expect some volatility just in general over here. Market clears this out. So this is a warning sign not to get into buys with Dow at all, right? Now, in the meantime, we were also waiting for NASDAQ buys or S&P buys. And the NASDAQ buys that we had lined up were based on what happened here. So Monday before London session, we had a sweep of liquidity. So let me zoom out a little bit. So we saw the market take out Friday's low, take out this low over here, last Monday's low, just barely, and then rally. Now the 15-minute, we still have, it's still trying to do a bearish structure. When the market fails to make this low here, these types of fails can sometimes turn into shift of direction completely. In this example, it didn't. But you usually still get a good bounce, especially if you're trading the lagging indice or the lagging pair. In this case, it's an indice. So because NASDAQ was less bearish than Dow to get to this zone, so you notice the market started to crash right there. And when this started to break through, this was already getting down to these levels. So this started to push further down and down, so very bearish. When NASDAQ got to this area, you saw that the sell-off was about 30.25 points. So the market gets into the zone. And, of course, We get one bounce here, not the biggest bounce, drops one more time. And then from this, still within our zone, rejects and pushes 50 points. So had you been, trading London session, then you would have taken, let's say you would have taken this trade. I was asleep. Your trade would have been somewhere in here, right? Somewhere in this zone. Now you would have survived this trade. The market mitigates. So for those of you that have gone through our smart money playbook, right? That or if you've just gone through our smart money bootcamp, that you should have different rules on when you're moving your stop loss to break even. Like, you need to have trade management rules. Now, for us, I don't necessarily have a rule for, like, I can't make your rules on when you manage your stop. But for me, if I have a mitigation entry, the distance of the smart money sell, the institutional sell, whatever you want to call it, the liquidity capture, when it rejects that amount, so in this case, once it did the 30 points, that's when either I move my stop to entry or I'd move my stop to reduced risk. So with this example, depending on your entry, let's say you took it like halfway in the zone, then you would have had maybe a 15 risk reward. So some of you would have seen a 2R on this. Some of you even more than that. Some of you, maybe you took the entry a little bit higher. You could have at least reduced your risk or just gone break even. When you have an aggressive reaction like this, you're better off protecting your money. So NASDAQ goes into profit depending on your entry model and your exit strategy. Anywhere from reduced risk to a 2R was definitely in play here. And then from there, though, markets melted. From there, it melted. If you guys want to work on your understanding of mitigation entries and just overall like how the markets function, then definitely check out the Smart Money Playbook. We have an awesome PDF that I think you guys would really enjoy if you've never seen it before. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drop it here for you guys. This is for free. Let's see. All right, so I just did it there. Boom. Okay, we'll get to oil here in a second. And we'll dive right in. So anyways, since then, the markets have just been bleeding out. All right, overall, just absolute bloodbath. So what do we do? What do we do in this example? We need to zoom out, fully zoom out of what's happening here in the market. This shouldn't be too surprising. After the markets were starting to drop aggressively here, remember we had in the beginning of the month of August, people started to panic and all that good stuff. So right now, I mean, 4 or 5 minutes after New York opened, the market's still pushing lower. All it's doing is filling in balance. So is anybody surprised? Is anybody surprised that you are getting in the imbalance fill over here right now? Like, should you be surprised? I don't think so. I think this is very much standard price movement. Now, we might see a little rejection in this order block, but the big picture is for the market to get into the zone from Friday, August 22nd. And then we could see a mitigation. If we go look at NASDAQ right now, look at this. NASDAQ is at that Friday, August 22nd dip down. This happened during London session. So if you guys remember, some of you were, especially my European traders in here, the European tradetopians here, Tradetopia Europe. Y'all, if you didn't have a limit at least, but for those of you that were active here, you guys had this epic setup that we had lined up. And I know some of you caught insane moves. So right now, we're just basically rebalancing this pump. That's all that we're seeing over here. So not completely surprised. We just saw NASDAQ take out not just this low, but this low over here as well. So NASDAQ is currently had a more aggressive move down. But what you'll notice is it's also recovering very quickly right now. So now that it took out Thursday's lows, and let me see if I can give you a better structure. Here we go. So now that it took out a key structure. So remember, when people are looking at the markets, they're seeing higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And then the market looked like it was creating a higher low right here. So typically, where would stop losses go during, let's say someone wants to swing trade, or just to, some people like to just put their stops below the previous, structure point. So it's an easy target for NASDAQ to clear out all of these lows. There's so many buys that are sitting below here, so many stops. So the market targets these lows first, and then now it's running. So I'll give you guys another clue. Something to understand. When let's say, for example, here, NASDAQ clearly is moving more bearish on the higher time frame than Dow, right? Dow, the low is for example, this low, the 22nd, this is breaking, this is falling faster relative to what's happening over here. This is taking out structure from over here, whereas we're nowhere near any of this. Right? So when you see a higher time frame going very aggressively to the downside, you can expect these structure points to fail. Whereas Dow, on the other hand, over here, it's way less aggressive to the downside. It's taking its time to get over here. They're both dropping. They're both moving in the same direction, one with more intensity than the other. So the fact that this cleared out liquidity the way that it did should be of no surprise. And I'm sure S&P is somewhere in between. So ES over here is mitigating this zone right now. So we go over here. You're going to notice, let's see, we'll do the 30-minute. ES did, in fact, get to kind of this area over here. And is starting to react already. Now, that's not to say that this can't go further down. I think it's actually pretty likely, considering Dow still has to move significantly lower. There's one thing that could happen, though. And we just might, and it looks likely, but we just might see NASDAQ give us a buy as well. So look at how New York Open kicked things off. It pushed NASDAQ down. So here's just so you guys can see now the smaller time frames, how the markets are moving. NASDAQ took out, so NASDAQ takes out these 4-hour lows, a whole bunch of liquidity. Okay, y'all see that? Then it just immediately rallied. So just instantly ripped to the upside. Meanwhile, Dow also pushed down, and these happen at the same time, but Dow is now struggling to make its way to the upside. So, depending on how this continues, we might get a buy out of NASDAQ right here. In order for this to be valid, because now this would be a mitigation setup. I want to see the market create demand up here. Then we could get a potential buy in the zone and then see this thing really rip. This may lead to Dow also getting down to these areas. So we may see these things line up. And we might get a rejection out of this little order block right there. So let me see. What do I want to do for this order block? So this is what I'm cautious of right now. So now we're trading into this order block. You see Dow is still going lower and lower, Meanwhile, NASDAQ is still kind of keeping its right now structure after just a few minutes. We haven't been bullish for too long yet. But this is basically what I'm looking for. This nice sideways movement. Give it 10, 15, 20 minutes or longer. Even better. NAS didn't clear on CFDs. Is that a problem? So I'm not focused on CFDs price action since it's derived from futures data, and then with CFDs data feeds, they basically just decide how they want it to print, and they kind of smooth it over, so you'll see that they look more like contracts just rolling over instead. So right now we got a good bounce off of the order block. I'm not taking anything yet. I'm going to wait a little longer. This is giving us more proof that it's staying bullish, so we might have an entry here. I'll place an alert here so we don't miss out on anything either. Okay, so while we have indices doing their thing, let's go take a look at that Australian setup that we talked about. You know, guys, this hurts. What a beautiful movement. Traded right into the imbalance. What a show. Max, this was, I think it was actually 1 pip away. Half a pip. Well. All right, well, we'll see how this continues. Wild. So I didn't get triggered in. Did any of you guys take the setup on Australian yesterday? Anyone get tagged in? Let's see. I had US 30 limit. So yeah, remember, if you're setting limits on indices and you're trading the 1 minute time frame, it's going to be really hard to manage. So I personally, if I'm trading small time frames on indices, I'm not setting limits that I can't manage. All right, cool. So, yeah, that's Australian. Obviously, it tanked, and right now, what we're looking at is: are there other options? You know, which major is the right major to take? Now, right now, this still missed for me. Like, in my opinion, we still have to drop a little lower. We're currently rebalancing, but I don't think we're mitigating yet. So I'm not taking this yet, and I do think we might have other options. So let's take a look at what this is looking like. Now, obviously, pound is way more bearish. Unfortunately, for this type of scenario, we have liquidity up here, so I still wouldn't look for a short. Now, here's CAD futures. So if you look at CAD versus the pound, they're both filling in balance. So what we'll do is actually, I'm going to do a side-by-side with the majors as well. Okay, so we have this side-by-side. Just a quick update on indices, just a check-in over here. Okay. So we saw Australian start to rebalance Wednesday's New York session price action, similar to CAD futures here. Now, if you're looking at USD CAD, it's going to be the opposite effect, but it's just like you could just kind of flip this. Can I just flip this chart? I forgot how you do that. It doesn't matter. But yeah, USD CAD is similar, just the opposite directions. So still either way, I wouldn't have looked for anything here anyways. Euro came close as well. So we had this marked up, there was a sell-off before it rallied. So this also filling this Wednesday imbalance. However, not quite to the zones. So I still think we can drop again. I don't think this is quite there yet. And then that leaves us with also having this NZD move where it fills in balance, similar to here, and then not quite mitigated. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep waiting. I think all of these do have opportunities. It's just a matter of which one's going to actually work out. Here's kind of what I think can happen. I think what we could see is that we get a sweep of this liquidity. So you kind of have some sideways movement during London, and then it tanked. I feel like we might clear this out and then drop right away and create a short like this. I feel like we might get something like this. Was it alt? Oh, that's cool. Sick. All right, yeah. So for CAD, if you're ever looking at let's say CAD futures, and you also trade USD CAD, you can just flip your charts. What is it? Alt I. That's cool. Good to know. So USD CAD, USD JPY. USD JPY looks more like this probably. Same thing with the Swiss franc. So, yeah, right now, I feel like considering that we didn't trigger in here over here, I do think that we're going to end up taking out liquidity and then dropping. So if I don't need this to happen, I don't know if this is going to happen. It's just a probability based off of looking at charts for so damn long for just about a decade. It's like you start to kind of see certain scenarios. They don't always happen, so you can't marry your bias. You can't just get caught up in what you think should happen. But taking out liquidity and then not having it sustain, I wouldn't be surprised if we got something like this. I wouldn't be shocked at all. So I'll keep my eyes open. We'll see what happens over here. So I'm going to have an alert here if we do clear liquidity and just kind of take out these highs. And then we can come back and take a look at this. But, yeah, I mean, overall, that's what I have in mind over here. So whether it's the euro over here as well, it's possible it could be CAD, pound, whichever one of these. We'll see how it rolls out. Otherwise, I'm going to wait for the market to drop a bit more before taking a buy position. Okay, so to give you guys a bit more context, Dow is starting to chop up and down. So we're still seeing it go lower and lower. So it's not quite ready for any sort of buy positions. Meanwhile, NASDAQ is maintaining this bullish demand. So now for 12 minutes, we've been above these previous highs. So the longer the better, like I mentioned. Kai, you said Swiss franc did something like that, or am I wrong? Did something like what? Did something like... Like they take the liquidity and then do its thing? Swiss franc, nice little rejection out of this zone and out of this sell-off. So that bounced really nicely. Taking out the highs. It did take out this previous high, but we still have all the other majors that could do something similar. So for now we're chilling. Okay, so check it out, guys. Now, after Dow respected this order block right here, so you see how the market came up here, and it was kind of creating a resistance on Dow Jones. So right over here. So this was luring in sellers, and then this thing went absolutely crazy. These are some pretty good areas where you can see the market bounce, and like we're seeing right now. So we're seeing a pretty good move. and that's leading to both Dow rallying to the upside. This is now rebalancing New York Open, whereas NASDAQ is very much above New York Open. So NASDAQ is definitely looking like it can be a quality buy later on. And, I mean, same thing with Dow. We just might have Dow buys later as well. Now that it took out some liquidity, took out these lows one last time before it went flying. So now we're going to be mindful of what type of price action we get on the way down to these areas. And then from there, we'll have some quality buy positions. Depending on how this goes, it doesn't necessarily mean we need to, take a huge risk-reward trade. It might just be a nice bounce, catch a couple 2R, maybe more, maybe less, and then call it. So as we're seeing, Dow is playing back into, just London session price action. So we're now starting to recover. NASDAQ trading a bit higher into this 7 a.m. So like for you guys, it'd be like an hour and a half before New York Open. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. Now to go and look at oil, right? We talked about oil trades yesterday. Oil doing some nice work over here. Where does this chart keep going? I feel like I don't necessarily. I swear, I feel like we marked this up different times, but anyways, we had the sell-off over here, right? The push down on oil came into our zone, mitigated beautifully here about 40 minutes before New York Open, 35 minutes before New York Open, and rejected in an amazing way. So what will our entry be here? Our entry, here's where we have some support. So you had consistent levels of support over here. So this is what we call that last point of supply. And this is where you could have had an entry, or over here, anywhere in this area. So this is like our typical, within the mitigation zone, we want to see, okay, where is there some support over here? This is where we've seen support in the past. So this is a pretty typical entry area for us. So had you been on yesterday's Zoom, and even if you just took the higher buy right here, then you're seeing the market reject there, traded up well over a 3R, all the way up to a 4.3R. Typical exits for us, if you're fixed risk reward, 2 or 3R, if you allow yourself to get a bit further out. So the first conservative exit would have been in here. If we were just doing price action, would be in the imbalance fill that also plays into the order block and has key levels of support in the past. This is where you could run into some traffic. Market maybe reverses out of here. After that, then you have, breaking the order block. And the next level would be to continue the imbalance and take it to another key reversal point, which is right there. So this, honestly, could have been a pretty quality 4R trade. Came all the way back. If you're managing your stops based off of price action, then, you push your stop to here, maybe your break even. Holding on to this one sometimes can be really tricky because you feel like you're giving so much back. But if you have, and now obviously you're seeing it push to the upside, I would have my stop at least over here to preserve some capital. Give yourself like a 1R in a worst case scenario if you haven't taken profit already. Based on the way that this dropped and came back up, looks pretty good for a continuation anyways. But yeah, this was the trade for oil. Hershey took that oil buy and got out at 1-to-1. Okay, cool. I took that oil play this morning and got taken out break even, unfortunately. So you had your entry a little higher. Or was it you took it here, it rejected, when it pulled back, did this tag you out, break even, and then it ran? That I could see. That would be a little unfortunate. But I get it. That quick spike down. That's unfortunate. All right, I'm going to share this gold setup real quick, and then what you guys can do, drop your setups that you want to see here. So if you want to see anything, let me know. And then I can take a look at it. Harshi, you dropped a couple charts, 3 charts. What's that? Okay, the oil buys took out at 1-to-1. So you just took a probability exit. Looks like you traded right at the open. Okay, nice. It's a good setup. Then you had gold futures, same setup. Dude, on fire. Good stuff. Dow. I have mine marked up, I think, than this right here, this move. Since this to me looks pretty efficient. So I have my stop like right there, I think. And I'm taking this sell off. But I see your bigger picture drop here. Like, I get it for sure. Higher time frame. I don't really trade indices like super high time frame. But yeah, I mean, good charts, Archie. Good stuff. Filmowit. I don't have. Let's see. Sweep, stable structure. What is this? 18. Mexican peso. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you're on right now, but this looks good. If you're not, it looks good. All right, I know, Lonzo, you were asking about, let's see, NAS potential shorts. Okay, so there is an order block in here. I'd have to zoom in a little more, though, to see a short. This might be a good one. I see it, Michael. I kind of see what you have, because it does take out the highs, and then you start to see the move down. Not the typical, like, just one push, and then we see it immediately drop. But I see it. I see what you see. I don't think I would take it, but that doesn't really make a difference. Okay, so where are you? For Alani, you have the short in here. So if we get into more detail, wait, let me make sure I'm looking at this right. Okay, yeah. So you're looking at the bullish hour here. This is the zone that you're looking at, right? In there. So it's just missing at the moment. In here, the only thing I don't see is kind of like the sweep of liquidity before it drops. It just looks like liquidity. So I'm not in love with selling in here. Like, I get it, but it just looks like sideways movement. Like, for example, had we, let's say, done something like this, let's say this would have taken out these candles and then dropped, then I would be down. So with NASDAQ, I'm not really seeing that. And then if we take a look at Dow, Dow is trading a little bit behind. So it's a similar process over here. I'm seeing more liquidity than I'm seeing like an area to short out of. And then we have, and it's 9 a.m., so we might see some momentum pick up over here. You have the ISM news right now, so we're definitely going to see a kick in volatility. Let's see if this does anything to gold. Not too much. What about majors? Just more. Okay, so now we're going to see that, you know how we were wanting to see if liquidity was going to take out these highs? So we are seeing that now with Australian pumping up way faster. So starting to clear out these sideways movement. Pound starting to do kind of pushing up, not as aggressively. Euro just took out all the highs as well. So yeah, that, like I said, we're basically taking out those highs, and now what I want to see is a clearance of liquidity, and then if we lose that momentum. So we'll come back and check in on that. Now regarding regarding the market dropping, this is the only move that I can see, which is this pump up here before it drops, and that's with NASDAQ. So like a short here, I could see it. Sorry guys, hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. And that would be playing into this over here. The thing is, it kind of ends up making equal highs anyways. The only other thing is we can take a look at S&P. And S&P still has imbalance over here. It has that move to the upside. So I could see shorts. It would be taking out liquidity from London session. It'd be getting into this imbalance. Over into this range. It might not even trade up here. It might just go over here. So take out a little bit more liquidity and then drop. And that would be basically Dow taking out these highs as well. So let's see here. And then looking at NASDAQ. NASDAQ already took out this liquidity. It lost momentum very quickly. Look at that. Look at how it takes out these retail sellers. Consolidation. So this is looking, this could be a play. Because this is very valuable. Look at the amount of liquidity that was building up over here. NASDAQ is the first to target it, clear it, and then drop. This is what we call a shakeout. Now, did it get above the highs for London session? No, not yet. That's like way over here. So London session highs are like basically up here, which we might get to later. Maybe not today. We'll see. It's possible. But look at how it clears these highs. Clears out tons of liquidity and then starts to drop. Instantly dropping. So we see that the move to the upside was, this was for liquidity. All this was for. This wasn't to make a bullish structure. So if, let's say we were to maintain price action down here and continue here, then maybe I could look for a short. Right now, I need some more time. I wanna see. Because what we might get is we might get Dow to push higher. We might have S&P also push higher up into this range. And then if these things are lining up, then I'm open to a short. So basically, what would this trade really look like? This would be the market capturing liquidity, rebalancing. That's what we'd be getting there. So if we have Dow rebalancing, capturing liquidity, and then at the same time we're getting NASDAQ showing us signs of weakness, which is this bullish weakness now, then we might be ready for a short. So let's see. In the meantime, excuse me, we're still seeing, we're seeing the news event clear some of this liquidity with Australian, pushed with the pound, Euro's way up there. So depending on how the market is here, we might have buy scenarios with Euro here. So if we stay bullish, then yeah, maybe this is a good buy opportunity and we can take this even higher. But we need this first. If this just tanks, then, that's a different story. So we will wait. Okay, look at how now NASDAQ's starting to really hold it. We're starting to see more demand at these lower levels. Good sign. Here, market rebalanced on Dow is creating basically more equal highs over here. This to me looks like it's too easy. It looks like it's still creating more liquidity. So yeah, I think we have a liquidity sweep, and then we can see this go and work its way down. How do you guys feel about this one? That's a liquidity sweep, and then that could give us the pullback that we want in here for NQ, and then we could see a nice short. So this has potential. At least, even if we don't work all the way down, we can get a good imbalance fill. All right. So let's see over here. M6E1 buys 1.164. Yeah, so you're looking at this. I think it's possible. Yeah, I think if we don't get a crazy spike down and we kind of stay bullish, yeah, I think we get that. All right. I'm waiting for that buy. Okay, perfect. So right now, here's where your system is going to be tested. The market's starting to go away from your entry. What do you do? What do you do here? You want to take the short. Let's say that is the case. You have that desire, like, I could take this. I don't want to miss out on it. But what's the downside? You got to think risk before you think profit. So let's say you're like anxious and you don't want to miss, like, oh, but what if it drops this whole thing and I miss this whole move? Okay, well, what if it doesn't? Let's say you did get in right now. And then, well, what is it going to create? Now you're in a different environment. Now your stop, instead of being, it could be 20 points or something, 25 points. Now instead, you're looking at a 45-point stop. So you're getting in way lower. And also, so if your risk reward takes a hit, and then also you're now implementing a behavior that doesn't serve you. It's not building your discipline at all. So I want to make sure that that's something that we're doing consistently. You're better off, maybe not taking the trade when you just don't have all the green light and you miss out. But at least you know that you're able to choose the right decision over your emotions, over your impulses, over your desires. That to me is the key. So what I want to see is liquidity sweep. And then once we have that peak liquidity sweep, then we have a much better perspective. And this might be setting us up, back over here, and we can look for a short. So that's what I'm looking for. Wouldn't it make more sense to sell Dow in a possible shakeout after it takes the liquidity, since it's more bearish today? Or are you just taking NQ because it's more bearish, higher time frame? So that's a great question. Now look at how price action is starting to flip. You notice how now NASDAQ's more bearish. It's been dropping, at least for the last, 9 minutes. It's going lower and lower and lower versus versus Dow that's still trying to kind of trading sideways. So if it stays like this, where NASDAQ is slow to pull up while Dow makes a higher high, then we're seeing, NASDAQ take back its bearish momentum. So if we see it play out like that, I would still go with NASDAQ. If it doesn't, let's say they both start to rally and NASDAQ starts to push higher as well, then yeah, we could go with what you just said, where you can kind of wait for it to do this, also drop, see if it does, and just basically wait for the same exact idea. But look at how Dow is holding up, looking to go higher, while NQ is further creating more and more bearish structure, like creating bearish price action. That's why I like the idea for this first. Okay, so yeah, make sense? All right, awesome, man. Any other questions, guys? Obviously, feel free to do that. Here to help. So look at that. Euro still ripping. This is building more and more evidence that this is going to be bullish and that we could be looking for buy scenarios later on over here. So that's cool. It's cool with me. We just might have something here. So look at Australia now has taken out these highs. There is still time for this to reverse, so don't just assume it's going to stay bullish. We could see that reversal, but a lot of these majors are now starting to really cement that bullish structure on the 5 minute. So it's looking good so far. And that's the beauty of patience, is sometimes you don't get one entry or one, idea, but something else happens. Like you get other types of proof. Okay. So we got that happening. We have this happening. And then let's take a look at that Mexican peso, because we had a nice move over here. So check it out. All right. So we wanted to see the order block play here. We did get the order block to mitigate, and then it dropped down. But remember, the liquidity is what we're looking for over here. So that trend line right there that you're looking at, we talked about it how the other day where it could be vulnerable and it could clear out those lows. And yesterday, did anyone take Mexican peso for the short? This one missed me by just a hair. So let me know what you guys think. So here we had the liquidity building up. When you have liquidity like this, these are the setups that can definitely fail. So from here, we get the rejection, and then we get the continuation. So liquidity capture here. This might set up for a buy now. Look at how we're seeing a huge spike down, similar to the other ones. Yeah, then we're ready to roll. So this may set up. Let's I'm gonna set alert at this high and see how it builds. But peso, from what I'm realizing, is peso loves to just barely kind of get into the zone and then play out of it. So pretty nice. Peso was a bit short. Yeah, it was a bit short for me. Wiping away my tears at the moment. But what a sell-off. Just beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, other than that, guys, we're seeing Bitcoin rally aggressively. Mitigation with Bitcoin right there. Honestly, that's nice. That's nice. And one thing that I want you guys to notice, it's Bitcoin starting to go bullish before indices. That's usually a sign that the markets are going to be very much ready to rip. This is looking like accumulation. So give me a second here. So, yeah, this looks solid. And Bitcoin right now is leading. Look at how Bitcoin made higher highs. ETH is not quite yet. So right now, if we were going to get a good confirmation for a long, then we're going to see if this plays out, stays bullish, and then see a mitigation from there. ETH didn't break the high, so it's still a little short of this. And then we have Sol that took out the high barely and then dropping in. So if we get Bitcoin to continue up here, then we can get a good opportunity. All right. Building up again, building through with Dow. Dow creating more liquidity here. NASDAQ still shorting. I'm still open to this idea for sure. I don't know if we're going to stay down here. So I think this is now creating sellers from London session. We just double topped here. Typical retail pattern. There's a lot of liquidity now sitting over here. So if it doesn't come back, then that's fine. This wasn't a trade for me to take then, and that's okay. All right. Now, I'm going to do a quick recap, guys, on stocks and then a quick look at crypto as well. We're getting a good bounce on a couple things. Let's see. Nike taking a little hit today. Peloton, Etsy, blah, blah, blah. Let's see anything interesting in here today. ENPH, a little bit of a drop. Solar taking a little hit today. Webull, guys, Webull still in, and for me, dollar cost averaging, which is fine. I know some of you are reaching out like, yo, Mike, I got some extra liquid. Can I take a play? So stocks, yeah, Webull is still in. We did get a mitigation out of this zone, so I think now we're starting to play into this sell-off over here, which is cool with me. Get to buy more of it, so I'm never mad about that. And then the pending ones that I'm waiting on right now, guys, I'm still looking to see Lululemon drop. This one I will be taking a position in here. Still got not a long way to go, but still got something to drop. And this is getting back down to COVID levels. That COVID orchestration, at least it's been proven across the board that it was an orchestrated event. But price action wise, same thing goes. So we have that. Airbnb still got some room to drop. I don't know if we're going to get down here or not. If it does, I'm in. If it doesn't, then I'm not really too worried about it. And then one of you guys brought up Lyft the other day, and I like it. I like the play for sure. It's way smaller than Uber, like 30 times smaller than Uber. And so I think we have a lot of room to run. This one to me is an easy, like 150% gain. Super easy. So stocks wise, looking solid. Cryptos wise, I think, and I talked about this. I hope one of you did what I said, at least one person, just one. And it was KeyCap. Remember I said, guys, like this is a coin that just bounces like crazy. Like easy intraday, just cash. Like just you buy some tokens, like 1,000, and then literally this thing bounced like 15% in a matter of like a day or two, almost 20% here. This thing just keeps chopping up and down. So doesn't take too much to make some money with this coin. But yeah, a lot of markets bouncing right now. Good bounces at the moment. So as you can see, very, very profitable day for majority of coins over here. Like I mentioned, these are times where I would just be picking up whatever you're interested in the most. Like these are the moments to do that. If you're fearing it, then I don't know when the right time for you to ever make a decision is. Okay, so look at how NAS is now starting to pull higher. So look at how price action has changed. Now NASDAQ's way up here. Dow's way down here. So, Caius, this is where your scenario makes more sense now, where we might see the market clear out this liquidity, and then we wait for that exact scenario that you talked about. So this is where I would be either we take the buys, one of these buys, or we could see what you just said, the clearance of the high, we could lose and drop right back down. And then we could take a position like this and let this thing, let it ride. So something like this is definitely possible. Now we just wait it out. So now I'm not going to sell Dow. Or I'm not going to sell NQ. To me, it looks like it's kind of leading the move back up. So I would be cautious taking a short right over here after everything we just saw. So, yeah, I'm going to just wait it out. Yeah, I'm gonna stay patient with this one. I think the indice buys are looking good, especially with the way that Bitcoin is lining up as well. So Bitcoin buys look good for later, trading out of these London lows. And then we have indice buys that look good as well for later. I'm going to go ahead and share these here. So we have options. So let me add this to our list. Yeah, Omar, this USD-JPY trade could work out. There's a lot of dollar setups that have a similar price action, so just be aware of that. So this is YM versus NQ. Got that there. There's kind of two scenarios that we can look at, so we'll stay vigilant on that end. And then you have a lot of these are setting up for potential buys, whether it's the euro. The euro looks good. I'd be looking at buys probably where we've seen all this support. So this looks more like a buy here. Some stop loss below. Let this thing run. I'd say we have a good, at least a 2.29 R. If depending on how this rolls, this might go even further. But as of now, it's looking pretty good. Let's add this to our list here. So we have euro. And then, like was mentioned, the yen. Yen looks good. Yen looks solid. Nice little sell-off. Looking for the trade in there. There's a lot of support lining up in this range, so the buys, in my opinion, anywhere in this range looks solid. Higher probability is to take earlier in the zone, and then just pick and choose where you feel like the market could give you a nice entry here. So this looks appealing to me. Let's say something like this. And then exits. Right now, based on how this is moving, time will tell. You have yen. Looks like NASDAQ shakeout would have played out. I chose to be a bit more conservative, considering that we were seeing Dow actually start to sell off first. So I'm okay with missing any move there. And then NZD, same thing. Like it's looking like it could also become a buy scenario. It's a little bit less bullish. So for now, I'm going to wait this one out. But as you guys can see, all of these look very similar. It's, in my opinion, not about taking every single one. It's about choosing the right opportunity. So Swiss franc, you have a similar zone here. And yeah, I'm not going to take all of these all at once. I'm just going to wait for basically one of them. Whichever one gets it back here towards the last one again to the zone, that's the one I'll pull the trigger on. So I'll send these as just different options. But this doesn't mean I'm going to take all of them. And I'll make that as a note because I know some of you, like, you're not everyone's on the live stream. So I won't take all of these dollar setups. Looking to only buy the lagging pair. Well, keep you posted. Cool. So that's all saved in there. Good chart so far. If you guys have dropped any in here. All right. What's up, Seth? Harshi, Gabriel, Adam. Yeah. This is how I'm feeling too. Here we go again. Cool. Got 2 new posts. All right. We got Euro GBP. Waiting on Euro. Okay. Lonzo, you asked for Euro GBP as well. This could look good. Yeah, I can see a short out of here. Takes the highs. See a drop. I don't trade Euro GBP, but I like it. Waiting for mitigation to go into a short. Euro dollar. Jesus. So for that Euro short, I just want to make sure of one thing. When you're up here, yeah, I mean, it takes out the high. The only thing I don't love about this short is this. It just creates more liquidity. So I'd say be mindful there. And Euro also, it looks like it's pretty bullish compared to the rest of them. Like, I think you might have a better opportunity with a different asset or just with none of them at all, honestly. I don't love it because 1, Euro is pushing up faster, and 2, it looks like more liquidity. So Jesus, I'm not sure if you're on right now, but watch the liquidity up there. All right, just want to make sure I answered all of these. Great. Okay, just like that, we're seeing Dow rip. Okay. A little recovery. Cool. Gold ripping to the upside right now. Silver not as bullish, but it's working its way up. I think some of you might want to short right here for silver. So that would be taking out liquidity. Here. Liquidity here. Regarding the structure of the market, on the 5-minute, we did flip back to the downside. Now, I know at the moment we're seeing more liquidity capture, rebalancing than anything with gold and silver. So higher time frames, we're still pretty bullish. That's why looking for shorts in this scenario is a little bit more sketchy. Not that it can't play out, not that we can't get a decent sell-off, but you're going against momentum, and it looks like the way the market dropped down was more to create to rebalance rather than to like establish a downtrend. So maybe we come back down and we're slower to get up here. I'd be cool with that. So this I'm gonna make a decision on a little bit later. I kind of want to see how price unfolds, but that's where we're at right now. So as of now, guys, regarding indices, still am leaning towards seeing the market clear liquidity, and then from there seeing if we either are going to lose the momentum or not. So just gonna wait for now. All right, let me double check in here. You think bottom in for crypto or a September dippy? Let's take a look. Let me do a little bit of a deeper dive into the crypto market caps, because this, for me, this is what gives us the best indication. Now, total market caps are looking very efficient with this dip down to here. We saw the market clear this low. Actually, did it, or did it make equal lows? Gets below this low. The only thing is I could see that the only thing we can get further down to would be down to here, which isn't impossible. It's going to come down to how things go today, honestly, today and tomorrow. So if we stay bullish, then I think we get a pretty good move, at least up into this range. Over here. The thing is, right now, I think we keep riding momentum, but whether we come back to here or not, that is really the question. So let's see how this turns out right now, because we might not get here until way later then. This is looking like pretty textbook accumulation for now. Total 2, same thing, looking like mitigation. The market's pushing. We're nowhere near some of these imbalances from the beginning of August. So like this is excluding Bitcoin. This is ETH and then the rest of the crypto when you see total 2. And then there's a couple different zones over here that are still unmitigated. So we could get here. That's not impossible. But like I said, if we start trading above these areas and we're maintaining, then this does change the overall sentiment of the market. So right now, totals, which is including Bitcoin, it's looking pretty bullish. Alts are, at least ETH is not screaming to the upside quite as much as everything else is. And then we have total 3, which is excluding ETH and Bitcoin, where we could see the market still make its move. So these also have 2 remaining areas of interest here for me. So I'm definitely open. I'm not I'm not a blind bull right now. But we're getting into like confirmation prices, like confirmation timing. So yeah, I think these next couple of days are going to really determine what we see happen. All right. Dow ripping. Looks like it's getting ready to take out liquidity. Solid. Guys, so we'll wrap it up there. Let me go ahead and here. My bad. Snapchat. That's the last one. I did say I was going to look at this. Snapchat is the final decision. My thoughts on this. Well, give me 1 second. I think I had I have like a system in how I score my stocks. So I just have to plug this in real quick. I think I already evaluated this one. Price action wise, I mean, yeah, it's down bad. This is down real bad. I had a meeting with this lady back in like 2018 or 2017 regarding stocks, and she asked me if she should buy Snapchat. It was sometime in 2018, and it was under IPO still. So I was like, you're under IPO, so you're probably gonna be fine. And then here we got our mitigation play with COVID. And then if you ran this up during COVID, 770%. If you got caught buying during COVID, then you're down really, really, really bad. Really bad. This looks like a meme coin. So let's see. 25 bill market cap right now? 11. Sheesh. Okay. So the thing is, revenue growth is good. It's slow, but it's pretty good. It's still unprofitable. So like they're burning cash like crazy, and they've been burning cash like crazy. So they're cash rich, but they're also in debt. So they're like still profitable, or not profitable. They're net up, but it's not great. And then there's no dividends or anything like that. The brand strength is okay. I think TikTok, Instagram Reels are, more relevant. And then founders are still majority votes, so they still run it for the most part. It's not something I would buy. I see the upside. Like I said, you can make it 2x. If something changes, then this might turn into, a nice 3x, 4x, just trading up into March 2022. I wouldn't bank on this like ever making a comeback, but I'm not super like dialed in on what Snapchat's day-to-days are and their vision and whatever. So I don't know. I know there's some AR, VR talks here, but other than that, like I just think there are better options that have more likely probabilities. You know what I mean? So this to me is more like maybe it plays out, but even in the financials themselves are not that great. So unless there's something else in the books, then yeah, maybe you see something. If we were just looking at, technical analysis, then this is, breaking below the lows. So clearing some sort of liquidity, playing down into 2018 levels. So, but not one that I would buy with confidence or anything like that. Cool. Well, guys, great session as always. No market executions, but we will be doing a deep dive into these things and how everything plays out. You teaching that evaluating system in the syndicate. Haven't gotten into portfolio evaluation yet in the syndicate because it's more. In the beginning, it's definitely more on a trading system, execution, discipline, psychology, and stuff. But phase 4 has more to do with portfolio, investments and long-term thinking. Sweet. Good questions, guys. I love the critical thinking. I love we're looking at just different things. So good stuff. All right, guys. With that being said, I appreciate you all for joining this stream. Make sure that before you go, you like the stream. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to do that. Also, if you want to tag us, it goes a long way for the community overall. On top of that, guys, remember that if you're not in the free community, dial in. And this is the last call for the the free prop firm account that I am giving away for those that do join the syndicate. So today is literally the last day for this promo. That's on the right. The syndicate is basically your personal trainer for your trading. Most people, they're just like, oh, let me get better at trading. But trading is a combination of so many different skills. And we basically reverse engineer those skills and dial into every single one independently while you guys get to work on the worksheets, the lessons, and we have our interactive sessions 3 times a week. So go ahead and check that out if you will. And if you didn't see it already, then you probably missed out on this. But we did have a Labor Day sale on Tradetopia merch. And this, I believe, will be the last one before we have our, this is 20% off of the whole store before we drop our new collection here in a bit. So, yeah, check out these things, guys. We appreciate the love as always. And we'll see you back here again tomorrow. So I'll have some music playing here. Nice little outro. And then we'll see you here tomorrow, guys. Take care, all right? Peace.
Dos gardenias para ti, con ella quiero decir, te quiero, te adoro, mi vida. Ponle todas tu atención, que serán tu corazón y el mío. Dos gardenias para ti, que tendrán todo el calor de un beso, de esos besos que te di y que jamás te encontrarán en el calor de otro querer. A tu lado vivirán y se hablarán